As I was listening to company executives report on their work, I noticed that the high school group chat, silent for years, had suddenly exploded with notifications mentioning me. Ethan, didn't you see Logan's status update? You're not attending his wedding today. The class president, Logan Steele, was getting married and all our old classmates were there. I'm sorry, my company's been busy lately. I don't have the time. I replied, attempting a polite explanation, but was met with a barrage of criticism. Busy with what? You barely post on social media. You're clearly not doing well. If you're worried about looking bad, just say so. Who are you trying to impress? Even Logan joined in. Remember that bet I told you the woman I'd marry would outshine yours any day? I replied, honestly, no, I don't remember. The mocking started pouring in. Logan's wife is a CEO and her dowry is in the hundreds of millions. What's wrong, Ethan? Too embarrassed to show up? Don't tell me you're too broke to cover your share of the gift. Should we start a crowdfunding page for you? Finally, Logan messaged me directly. Come to my wedding. Witness my big moment. For old time's sake, I'll even have my wife find you a security job when it's over. He added before posting a photo of himself and the bride. The bride, to my shock, was my wife, Lily Harper. I replied, all right, I'll come to witness your happy day. Just then, I received a message from Lily herself. Hubby, I'm heading back to my hometown to see my parents. I've left food for you in the fridge. Heat it up when you're ready. Love you, baby, she added. For the past 3 years of our marriage, Lily had been attentive, always leaving my meals prepared and seeing to my needs, even while spending money lavishly. In the past, I would have felt grateful for her thoughtful gestures. Today, I only felt insulted. Ending the meeting early, I drove straight to the wedding venue in Logan's hometown. From a distance, I saw the banner over the hotel entrance. Congratulations to Ms. Lily, CEO of Besla Business Group, on her wedding. There beneath the banner stood Logan in an expensive suit, awaiting his bride. A group of our old high school classmates surrounded him. Logan, we had no idea you've been dating the CEO of Besla Business Group. Yeah, the famous entrepreneur. Ms. Lily, you're really something marrying such a wealthy and influential woman. Even our old homeroom teacher chimed in, flattering. Logan, I always knew you'd be successful. That's why I made you class president. Grades aside, you were destined for greatness. Logan stood, basking in the admiration, as proud as a rooster. After we married, Lily always talked about building her own career. I'd funded her ventures. Luxury boutiques, beauty salons, yoga studios, none of which succeeded. Despite every failure, she grew more determined, telling me she'd be a CEO one day. I'd handed over Besla Business Group, a small subsidiary for her to manage. I hadn't realized that she would use it to flaunt her success beside Logan. Seeing me, the classmates who had been fawning over Logan suddenly looked at me with scorn. One of Logan's friends approached, eyeing the car I arrived in. Ethan, you actually rented a Rolls-Royce just to show off? The others scoffed. So this is why you bothered to come to pose in a luxury car? What a joke. That rental must have cost you half a year's salary. Do you really think you can compete with Logan's wife? As they ridiculed me, I calmly replied, this is my car. Logan strode up to me, his face twisted in anger. Without warning, he punched me. This car, it's my wife's. You're the guy she's been secretly seeing behind my back, aren't you? You leech. Driving my wife's car to my wedding. How shameless can you be? The sudden punch knocked me off my feet. Classmates stared in disbelief. Logan, is this really your wife's car? Someone asked. Logan smirked with pride. Why would I lie? He pulled out his phone and showed off a few photos of him and Lily. They were intimately posed together, some taken inside the car, and others on the hood with the license plate clearly visible. The crowd immediately gasped. So it's true. That means Ethan is definitely mooching off someone else's wife. Logan glared at me coldly. No wonder you've been so quiet on social media all these years. Turns out you're nothing but a leech. The others quickly chimed in. Wow, Ethan, you always looked so put together. Never thought you'd stoop to this. I used to think he was the high school heartthrob, but now, total scumbag. It's pathetic, really. Acting all aloof when you're just mooching off a rich woman. Even our homeroom teacher looked disgusted. Ethan, don't ever tell anyone I taught you. I don't associate with people who lack morals. The murmurs and criticisms from the crowd attracted more onlookers, many snapping pictures and recording videos. I took off my designer jacket, worth millions, and tossed it in the trash. Facing Logan, I kept my voice steady. "You punched me without knowing the full story. Pretty lawless of you." Logan sneered. "What are you going to do about it? You came here in my wife's car, practically begging to get hit toward the Rolls-Royce behind me," his face contorted with anger. "There's nothing worse than a man who lives off women." He pulled out his keys and scratched "Mistress deserves death" onto the car door. I glanced at the words and said, "Soon you'll realize how ironic that phrase is." Logan laughed bitterly. "You're still running your mouth, you shameless loser." He picked up a brick and smashed it against the car, first the windows, then the hood, leaving dents and shattered glass. Logan is the future heir of Besla Business Group. We can't let him be bullied by someone like Ethan. I looked around at the chaos surrounding me. My Rolls-Royce, the car I had purchased with my own money, was now destroyed with shattered windows and dented panels. The crowd continued to laugh and mock me, while Logan basked in his supposed victory. I swallowed hard. This wasn't the moment to lose my temper. It was the moment to act. Taking a deep breath, I straightened my posture and stepped forward, ignoring the pain in my jaw from Logan's punch. "Logan," I began, my voice calm but firm enough to silence the crowd. "You think you know everything, don't you? That you're the smartest, most successful man here. But today, I'll show you just how foolish you really are." He laughed mockingly, crossing his arms. "Oh, so now the loser wants to give a lecture? Go ahead, Ethan. Entertain us. First, let me clear something up. That car you just destroyed isn't your wife's. It's mine, paid for with my own money, earned through my own hard work. And for everyone here who's so curious about how I get by, let me tell you something. I'm the actual owner of Besla Business Group. I gave Lily control over a subsidiary because I trusted her, because I wanted to see her grow. I never imagined she'd use it to inflate the ego of a man like you." The crowd fell silent. The laughter disappeared, replaced by expressions of shock and disbelief. Logan tried to rebut. "Liar. Lily is the CEO of Besla, not you. Stop making up stories to make yourself look good." I pulled out my phone, tapped a few times, and displayed official documents, contracts, transfers, and records that prove my ownership of Besla Business Group. I placed the phone on a nearby table for everyone to see. The truth is right there. Anyone who wants to verify it, go ahead. The silence was deafening. A few people stepped forward to examine the documents, their faces shifting from disbelief to embarrassment. Even my old teacher, who had just scorned me moments ago, avoided meeting my eyes. Logan, however, was livid, his face red with anger. "This doesn't prove anything. You could have faked all of it. Lily wouldn't have married someone like you if she knew you were so powerful." I took another step closer, locking eyes with him. "Logan, the problem isn't what Lily knew. The problem is that she never appreciated what she had. She chose to betray the man who gave her everything to be with someone who only knows how to show off. And you, Logan, you're so obsessed with looking superior that you destroyed another man's car without even knowing the truth. And you know what's worse? You married a woman who's only with you because she thinks you can give her more. Wait until you realize you're just another rung on her ladder." At that moment, I heard the sound of a car pulling up. Everyone turned to see Lily stepping out of a taxi. She looked stunning in her wedding dress, but her expression changed as soon as she saw the wrecked car and the crowd. When our eyes met, she turned pale. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" "Oh, Lily," I replied, my tone dripping with irony. "I came to witness your big day. Isn't that what you wanted?" She glanced around, confused as Logan approached her, trying to take her hand. "Lily, don't listen to him. He's just trying to ruin our wedding." But before he could say more, she pulled away sharply. "Logan, what did you do to the car?" She recognized it instantly, her voice trembling. "That car, it's Ethan's." "Exactly," I interjected. "And it seems your new husband thought destroying my car was a good way to start your life together." Lily turned to Logan, horrified. "You destroyed his car? Are you insane? Do you have any idea how much that car is worth?" "How much it's worth?" I repeated bitterly, laughing. "That's what you're worried about, Lily? Not the fact that you betrayed your husband with this idiot? That you used everything I gave you to flaunt yourself and humiliate me? She tried to explain, but I cut her off. You know, Lily, for a long time, I thought we were building something together. I believed your words, your promises, but now I see you were never anything more than an opportunist. I turned to face the crowd. And for all of you who laughed and judged me without knowing the truth, remember this moment. Because while you're busy trying to feel superior to others, I'm busy building my legacy. And I guarantee none of you will have a place in it. Finally, I looked at Logan. And you, Logan, enjoy your victory today. Because when Lily decides you're no longer useful, you'll be the next one discarded. Without waiting for a response, I walked over to my ruined car, pulled out my phone, and made a quick call. Within minutes, a tow truck arrived to take the Rolls-Royce away. Before leaving, I turned to Lily and Logan, both visibly shaken. Oh, and Lily, consider this my wedding gift. Effective immediately, your access to Besla is revoked. Good luck without it. I got into the taxi and left, leaving behind the chaos, the shocked expressions, and the shattered facade of their perfect day. For the first time, I felt like I had finally closed that chapter of my life. I left that place with a weight on my shoulders, but a clear decision in my mind. I wouldn't resolve this through anger or hatred, but with precision and justice. Lily and Logan thought they had reduced me to nothing, but I knew the real power lay in observing, planning, and acting at the right moment. I had something they would never understand: patience. When I got home that night, I found the dinner Lily had left in the fridge. I stared at the food, prepared with the care she always pretended to show, and felt the contrast between her actions and her intentions. It was no longer about love or betrayal. It was about principles. I resolved that everything would end cleanly and definitively. First, I severed every financial and logistical tie to Lily. It wasn't loud or dramatic, just a quiet adjustment of accounts, contracts, and access. Everything I had allowed her to use, from credit cards to vehicles, and even the apartment she occasionally stayed in, was transferred back into my name. Within days, she would have to face the reality of who had been behind the comfort she enjoyed. But my top priority was dealing with Logan. He had always prided himself on being the center of attention, manipulating others to appear superior. I decided that the best way to confront him wasn't through direct attacks, but by dismantling the illusions he had built around himself. I started with something simple, a meeting with our old classmates. I used the pretext of a casual reunion, something to reminisce about the good old days. It was surprisingly easy to gather most of them, especially since many still clung to that almost childish need to compete and impress. Logan, of course, showed up with Lily by his side, trying to maintain the image of the perfect couple. During the gathering, I let Logan speak first. He began boasting about his successes, emphasizing how lucky he was to be with Lily, repeatedly mentioning how she was a visionary CEO. As he spoke, I watched the reactions of those around him. Some seemed impressed, but others, those who had already started doubting Logan's exaggerated stories, exchanged discreet glances. That's when I joined the conversation, calmly and respectfully. I started sharing stories from our school days, recalling moments when Logan had manipulated situations to make himself look better. I didn't attack him directly. I simply brought up inconsistencies from the past in a subtle way. As the night went on, the conversations began to shift. Classmates started sharing their own stories, moments when they felt used or deceived by Logan. Lily, who initially looked uncomfortable, tried to intervene a few times to defend Logan, but I remained composed, skillfully redirecting any tension. When she mentioned how Logan had always been a natural leader, I smiled. That's true. He always had a way of drawing people in, even if it was mostly for his own benefit. The reunion ended without major confrontations, but something had changed. Logan, who arrived full of confidence, left visibly shaken. The seeds of doubt I planted in the group began to grow. In the days that followed, some classmates reached out to me privately, thanking me for opening their eyes. Others started questioning Logan publicly, especially on social media. Logan, who had always controlled his image so carefully, suddenly faced the pressure of addressing accusations from the past. Meanwhile, with Lily, I took a more direct approach. I arranged a dinner at our home and waited for her to arrive. When she walked in, smiling as if everything was normal, I asked her to sit down. In silence, I placed a stack of documents on the table, including proof of the transfer of all assets and responsibilities back into my name. "Lily," I began, "this is what's left of what we had. Or rather, what you thought you had." She tried to argue, but I raised a hand to stop her. "There's nothing left to say. You chose the path you thought was best. Now, you'll walk it alone. I trusted you, and you broke that trust. This isn't just about marriage. It's about character." I made it clear that our divorce would be handled quietly, without scandals, but that she would no longer have anything from me. She tried to cry, to plead, but I didn't waver. In the end, she left with the few belongings that were truly hers. I felt a mix of relief and sadness, but also the certainty that I was doing the right thing. In the months that followed, both Logan and Lily began facing the consequences of their choices. Logan lost the respect of our old classmates, who now saw him as a manipulator. Lily, without the financial and structural support I had provided, had to start over on her own. As for me, I moved on with my life, lighter and stronger. I didn't make a scene. I didn't need to shout or stoop to their level. I simply let their own actions expose them to the world. After all, true revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about showing them you never had to play their game to win.